my success is not going to come from other people. Anything that I want to do in my life needs to start with me and finish with me.
Meet Matt, a fraternity leader who just graduated from The Ohio State University, building a new life in his new city. In this episode, Matt shares the 2 things he realized about growing up after college. It's on you to build your life, but you're not meant to do it alone.
You know, everybody goes through problems. It's better to have somebody help you through it than sit there in silence and it just get worse.
If you're taking extreme ownership of your life, but feeling a little burned out from carrying everything by yourself, then this episode has some tools of relief that you need. So let's dive in. Welcome to this episode's Best Path Forward, where we talk about personal development tools that we use to hit our goals. Today, I'm joined by Matt.
How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Feeling good, ready to go.
You're feeling good and ready to go.
Yes, sir.
This is your first time talking in front of a camera.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been told I like to talk a little bit, so.
All right, so who tells you that?
My girlfriend, my mom, my brother sometimes. Good ways and bad ways. Good ways and bad ways.
I mean, it's always good ways, right? It's on them to take it in a bad way.
Sure.
Hey, you're probably not spewing a lot of negative stuff.
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just like to talk, like, about stories that happen in my life, and sometimes I can go a little too far in the story and not really get to the point. And they always make fun of me for that, but I do like to talk, so I'm ready to go.
You know, I'm curious now, so what's one of your favorite stories to tell?
Oh, God. It's usually just, like, stories that happen, like, on the daily. You know, like something happens in the day and like it's just a simple story that I can probably just get to the point of, and I kind of just ramble on about, oh, this happened and this happened and this happened, and they're just like, just get to the point. I'm like, well, I like to tell a story and I like to make people smile and understand like why I thought the story was funny or good. So, you know, I don't have one in specific, but maybe want to come to me, as we said.
Well, we'll definitely come to you. I mean, part of storytelling is making sure the right setup is there. You don't want to just get to the climax. It's not worth it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, do you watch any movies at all? Like Marvel movies or anything?
Of course, yeah.
So like you have like Avengers Endgame.
Right.
Like if they just went from like Iron Man 1 to Endgame, it's like, you don't have that same emotional hit.
Right.
So I kind of like your idea of telling the full story there.
Yeah.
All right. So Matt, I have a question I like to start with everyone. Since you're a storyteller, tell us, what's your story?
Oh, God, I have an interesting story, I guess. You know, born and raised in Long Island, New York, as the people there like to say. Pretty much that's all I knew all my life. Grew up in New York. Never thought I would end up in Ohio, but went to school at Ohio State. Graduated just last year, May 2024. Loved Ohio State, loved Ohio in general. Never thought I'd love a place so far from home. And circumstances kind of fell into place where it made sense for me to be here for the time being, and I got a job here, moved here, got an apartment here. A couple of my friends live here. My brother, who you know, people won't know, but my identical twin brother, we live together. The pieces kind of just fell into place, and I've been here for over a year now, and I've loved every part of it. Happy I'm here. It feels like home, and you know, see where the future takes me.
So it's funny that you live somewhere else and then never thought you would be in a spot like Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and I came here for grad school and then stayed for law school. And everyone's like, "Why'd you choose Ohio?" I was like, "Oh, because they have a good program and everything." And I imagined before I got here, there used to be fields of corn and like this university just sprouting out like out of corn stalks. Then I got here, I was like, "Wow, this is a huge city. This is actually pretty nice." So what was the things you've heard about Ohio before you moved here from New York?
Not much, honestly. Like from what I remember, like maybe similar things of like Ohio, just like, you know, Midwestern like culture, and, you know, not a big city and not what I've known like New York to be my whole life. And I'm not from New York City, but like still went there occasionally, it being so close. So I thought it would be different from what Long Island and New York was. And I knew they had good football, and I knew the football was very prevalent, and that's what people cared about. I'm a huge sports fan, so that was definitely a pull for me to go there. So I knew that. And then when I got here, you know, early on, I didn't know it was COVID my freshman year, so I didn't really see the city. I kind of just knew what the campus was, and the campus was great, and I always knew that. So I never really explored out until probably my sophomore year about like what the actual city was like. And even further on from there, like I've kind of driven out to like some of the suburb areas, some of the towns and cities and whatnot nearby. And I would say to people, like, if you blindfolded me and placed me in Grove City and I didn't know where I was, and you asked me if I'm in Long Island or Columbus, Ohio, I would have probably a tough time telling you. And I didn't know that would be the case, 6 years ago. And it's pretty funny looking at it. Like, there's definitely some similarities between Long Island and Columbus, and nobody really would know that until you come here and see it. So,
Do you get blindfolded pretty often?
no.
I was gonna say that'd be concerning if like part of your life is like just being blindfolded and put in different situations.
Yeah.
So I had no idea that you came here during COVID. What was that like, kind of going to a pretty big university and having the world and city around you being on lockdown?
It's actually funny. Last night I was talking with some friends, and we were like ranking our like semesters at college, like which ones were the best, and out of 8, which ones were the best. And I think all of us said first semester of freshman year was by far the worst, just in the grand scheme of things of having all like at the time. I loved it. It was definitely an adjustment, and I had a fun time while I was there, and I didn't really know much of what school was, and even the restrictions. It was tough, and I had to wear masks, and couldn't have more than 5-ish people in your room at once. So at the time it was fun. I met a bunch of new people, some of my best friends now. Still had a great time. It was football season and we couldn't go to any games, but we still enjoyed watching the Buckeyes play, and they played for the national championship that year, which was awesome. But looking back on it, having 7 other semesters after that, we realized that the potential of what college wasn't even on half of like what full display it could have been, the rest of the way. And, yeah, it was definitely something that I look back on, and I'm glad I experienced it. And, I'm lucky that I was able to get to college, because I'm sure people a year older than me and maybe 2 years older than me couldn't really experience the last few years of their college experience. And I'm lucky I was able to get there and have some experience and not have to sit at home for another 5-6 months before we got back to school. So I'm lucky I had it. I look back on it and just say, what? Could have been better, but I'm not a negative person, so I'll never be like, that was the worst time of my life. I'm just saying, no, it could have been better, but it was definitely a fun time and something that I learned from for sure.
That is awesome. You never see like people that have kind of like that black line experience from like, oh, the world shut down, and now it's like kind of up. You can go out and do things. I also went to Ohio State University, and so I know a lot about the, I guess, college life and just campus life in general. So where did you live on campus?
I lived in Park Stradley Hall my freshman year. Where did I live? I forget this is my sophomore year doing Will Come to Me.
Yeah, because you're out busy living it up after COVID. That boy just lost all his memory.
You asked me yesterday, I would have told you, but I'm just blanking on it. But I lived on South Campus my freshman year, North Campus my sophomore year, and then I lived in my fraternity house my junior year, and then on Summit Street my senior year. So
you never lived in Morrill Tower?
No.
What did you hear about Morrill? You said, thank God. Does Morrill Tower have a bad reputation?
Terrible.
I didn't live there for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, when you're a freshman and you get your dorm revealed to you, and you have Morrill Tower or the other tower,
Lincoln. You don't know its name, Lincoln Tower.
It's a bad sign.
What are the kids saying about Morrill Tower now?
It's just not as one. It's like kind of far away from everything.
Fair.
2, it's kind of old.
Kind of old.
Yeah,
it's very old.
Very old.
It has character though.
Yeah. It's just not as nice as the potential of the other dorms, and people tend to stay away from them when they're deciding if they can choose what dorms they live in or not. So I've heard bad things. I've never personally been in a dorm room there, so I can't tell you straight up if it's a good place or not to live, but from everything I've heard, I don't think I've heard one positive thing said about Morrill Lincoln Tower living experience since I've been here.
I mean, it's close to the stadium. Doesn't that count for something?
Yeah, but like,
you couldn't go to the games freshman year.
Right. And then, like me, I was in fraternity, so you'd always go to the fraternity house first before the game, and that was like extra far away from the fraternity houses.
I see.
So you're always going there and backwards anyway, so you might as well live somewhere that's closer to the fraternity house and then make your way over.
That's very cool. Yeah. So, what fraternity were you in?
I was in TEP.
So what is TEP?
Tau Epsilon Phi.
Tau Epsilon Phi.
Yeah.
All right. So what made you rush for fraternity?
It's like something that I honestly like didn't really think about too much my freshman year, like first semester. I didn't really put too much stock into figuring out like where I wanted to be fraternity wise. I think I always knew that I wanted to rush a fraternity. My dad was in one. My mom was in a sorority, so like, my dad always told me stories about his fraternity life, and I always thought that was something that like I wanted to do for sure. And then a bunch of my friends also wanted to do it, so it was almost a no-brainer at that point. And then, kind of as like break picked up in between semesters, my freshman year, the thought process of like where I wanted to go and how I wanted to do it kind of started falling into place, and rushing just kind of happened, and found some people that I really liked. A bunch of my friends all got in at the same time as me, and there was like 8 of us kind of just all did it together, and we're like, we're gonna be here and we like it here, and yeah, it ended up being great.
Nice. I was also in a fraternity at Florida State University. I was in Theta Chi. So we didn't have taught Epsilon Phi, but I remember the whole rushing experience being on one side of it and then the other side of it. And so did you ever help with the future rushes and recruitment?
I did. I was actually one of the vice presidents my sophomore year into junior year, so I was like definitely behind some of the pushes for other pledge classes and whatnot. It's funny. I like thought I would like enjoy like meeting new kids and like recruiting kids, and I always thought like, wow, this is gonna be fun, like whatever. And then towards like the end of my junior year and into my senior year, I'm like, oh my god, I can't stand this. This is so boring. Like I got to stand in the basement for 3 hours and just like try to flirt with guys as we told it. It's like I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'm bored. So it's pretty funny. I was so into it, when I joined the frat and like that first rush period came around, and I was like, okay, like I'm ready to go, like meet some kids, like let's go build the frat. And then after that, I was like, wow, I didn't realize I'd feel like this after that. But
You're just throwing like jabs today because first you hate Moral Tower and then you hated being part of the recruitment process. I was a recruitment chair for my fraternity. I loved every second of it. I did. I like meeting new people. Why did you hate it? Did you not like what you called?
I respect it. Like I understand the process, and when I first did it, like I thought, like I said, I just like was so into it. I'm like, this is fun. Like I'm a part of this. Like I can be on the other side of it. The pressure of being on the rushing side compared to the recruiting side is so much different. Like there's so much pressure when you're rushing, try to do everything right, say the right things. And then I guess I was excited for the aspect of like trying to pick out, kids that are trying too hard, or kids that are saying the wrong things, or like critiquing kids or saying good things about kids when the time came afterwards. I don't know. I got burnt out by it at the end. It's not like I didn't do it and like I stood there and tried to meet people, but at some point I'm like, these kids are 2 years younger than me. I'll know them, but these are not going to be like my immediate class next to me. And at some point I was just like, this is hard to sit down here and have people come talk to me for 2 hours about who they are. I'm like, I heard the same story so many times. Where you from? What's your major? All that stuff. And it's just like, at some point I was like, all right.
You've heard enough.
Yeah.
You've had enough.
Yeah.
I remember during my recruitment process. I mean, it's kind of a tough time for these guys too. If you think about it, it's like, hey, I'm going to meet people that I kind of want to maybe join the organization, and it's tough, and they feel like they have to kind of be perfect and kind of have to say the right things. So, as VP of recruitment for yourself, how did you help ease that pressure?
Oof. I just thought, I could tell right away from like a kid. I wouldn't like try to like be like perfect to him. Like I would just kind of be myself, like just chill and relaxed, and I could tell right away if like he was trying too hard. And then, if I like the kid, I did this multiple times with like straight up tell him like, I like you, you're a good kid. I'll put in a good word for you. Like, be yourself. Like I don't want you like acting like too crazy in front of people and like almost being that perfect person, because people are gonna know. And like, you're a good kid. I know that you're gonna do well here if you want to, but just be yourself and don't try to do too much. And I was like pretty honest with people about that. And like, I wasn't afraid to tell a kid straight up that I liked him. You had a good chance at getting a bid, and like, just be yourself.
Just relax and chill.
Yeah.
How they kind of take that feedback and approach? Were they happy about it? They kind of have a sigh of relief?
Probably.
You
Yeah.
said probably? You didn't ask them?
Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah, you could tell on their face they're like happy and smiling, and they're like, okay, I'm good. Good.
It's good to like talk to someone that they respect. Obviously, they respected you because you're part of the fraternity that they want to join.
Yep.
And when someone says like, "Hey, you're good. Just go ahead and relax," you
Yep.
can kind of dial that down. It
Yeah.
turns into less of an interview and more of like get to know you even
Right.
more.
Right.
And I think kind of getting out of that pressure is huge. And so that's good. I'm glad you had a quote unquote experience. I'm gonna call it a positive experience. You had experience.
I did.
So what's one big thing you learned about yourself, kind of being that recruitment chair or part of the VP?
Yeah, I mean, as VP, oh my God, I learned a ton. One, I think, was just dealing with, I think it was like 6 other people on board with me, and just dealing with, you know, fraternity issues, money, making sure that everything was planned and organized, and all that stuff. And people are going to have issues with what you say and what you are implementing, and just kind of standing on your business kind of as a board and saying, we think we know what's best. We are confident that this is the best. We're going to do this, and not everyone's going to like it, but trust us, it's going to work out. And kind of just having that mindset that, like, it's okay to try different things and do different things. And as long as you're united as a board and confident in what you're doing, that it's going to be the right decision. And even if it doesn't go well, you can kind of stick on your ground and say, we had our reasonings for doing this, and it's okay. We'll get them next time.
I think that is one impressive, because I think a lot of people, especially probably when you're the VP, you're 20, 21.
Yeah.
You're having that experience of like, hey, we have this plan in mind. Not everyone's going to be on board with it. So you have to be united as a board.
Yep.
And then kind of like have that message where you're going to send out to the wider chapter of the fraternity group.
Yep.
And some people are going to be on board. And chances are not everyone's going to be on board. It's like, how do we message this in a way of like, hey, we're united front. We did our research. We looked at the numbers and everything, and we have this approach going forward. I mean, that is a huge thing to learn at your age. And I assume that's carried forward in your career so far.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's definitely one thing that shaped me over the last few years. Definitely learned a lot. And I think it's definitely, I look back and learn and take things from there and have used them in my professional career for sure.
So you're probably one of the most driven people that I know, just in general. It seems like you're trying to do a lot of different things. We met at the gym, and people go to the gym early in the morning. I mean, we're just kind of made a little different. It's like, let's get up before the sun does and get after it. And so in your day-to-day job, like, how do you stay so driven and motivated?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a mix of a bunch of things, really. I just always have been that way. Like you said, like, getting to the gym early. Like, once I started working as an adult, like, that was a guarantee. Like, I wasn't waiting around to go to the gym. Like, we're getting up early, getting after it. We're going to make ourselves feel good before the day, make it so we're not jumping out of bed and hitting the desk right away or something like that. The way I stay driven, I'm not like future oriented, because I know that I have this like sneaky confidence that, like, no matter what happens in my life, that it's going to work out. Like, I'm going to be successful in one way or another, whether that's with my work or with a family, things like that. So I wouldn't say like I look at the future and say, that's why I'm doing everything. Like, I'm doing everything to work for the future. Obviously it's a part of it, but I don't sit there day to day and say that's the reason why. I always just want to do, like, I want to be the best. And like my day job, is very goal driven, and you're competing against other people in the organization. And you're noted when you're doing well, and it's known around the organization that you're doing well. And I want to be known as somebody that's at the top percent of the organization. And my goal is to make that known for everybody, and I'll do whatever it takes to get there. And that kind of drives me on a day to day, just knowing that, hey, if you got to get through this day to be the best. And it's only one day. It's only 8 hours. Focus those 8 hours on being the best, and you will be the best.
I think that's really cool how you've transitioned from, I guess, having a college age time to kind of what you call like adulthood and everything. Were you like this in college, kind of like having the same mindset to kind of get up and get after it?
More than probably other college students. I wasn't like, 6:30 a.m. workout kind of guy, but I was very much like get up earlier than normal, get my day started. Obviously I had class and things like that, but, still hitting the gym every day, trying to make sure I get that workout in. and just, yeah, focusing on school or fraternity stuff at the time, whatever it was, and just making sure that I got through it and motivated myself to keep going because I knew that the future was ahead of me and was excited for it. So
I think that's one thing that I think is really cool is that you kind of made that transition from being in college. What's one of the biggest changes that you've seen since graduating from college to becoming like this adult person starting off your career?
yeah, obviously the day to day is very different. That's going to be anybody who works. Nobody starts work at 1 p.m. You got to work at 9 a.m., sometimes 8 a.m. So you got to get up early and do that. I think the biggest thing for me is like socially was a big change. I always had like 10 of my best friends around me. My senior year, I lived with 9 other people. So, you'd walk downstairs in the morning and there'd be 4 guys sitting on the couch. You'd always have people to go out with, always people to grab dinner with, people just hanging around, just chatting at night. It was always easy. You never had to worry about making plans with people or doing this. And now I only live with one of my friends and my brother, which is great. I love it. But, it's not 9 of my friends. So the social aspect was definitely a jump, having to meet some new people, whether that's in my building or in my apartment complex, just trying to get out more and meeting people and creating new friends. And, not every night's going to be going out night. It's not college where not every Saturday night's going to be, oh, it's 9 of us pre-gaming and going to the bar. Sometimes it's just the 3 of us. Sometimes it's just me because, they got their stuff they got to do. They both have girlfriends that they go and see and have plans with. And, sometimes you're alone on a Saturday night and you got to make do with your Saturday night. And whether that's, utilize your other friends or, just having alone time on Saturday, it's just different. You never really had that in college. I couldn't tell you one Saturday night in college where I was alone. I don't think it ever happened. So, yeah, it's just stuff like that I've adjusted to. And I was saying to my mom earlier, actually, I was like, this has been like a really good few months socially for me. I think I've really taken like the next step of like, meeting new people and creating something that is going to be beneficial for me down the line. So I'm excited about that.
When you say things like that, I have to ask. So like, what have you done over the past few months that's really helped level up your game socially?
Yeah, I mean, I met a couple new guys, new friends that like we've really become close with and, have hung out with a bunch of times. And I think I've just been more like active of being like, okay, well, I do enjoy some nights alone on Saturdays and whatnot, but if there's an opportunity that we can get something together and do something and go have a fun time instead of just being like, no, let me just send the text. Let's just go do something. Let's make a plan and let's have a fun night or have a fun day or play golf on Sunday or something like that. Just send the text and do it. And I think I've gotten to the next step of just doing it. And the last month, it's been a lot of fun and I've been excited about how that could build in the future.
So you're taking initiative to actually reach out to people
Right.
and actually say, hey, let's go ahead and start doing this thing, kind of taking the leadership role in that. I think in college, you have like the structure, be it like a dorm room or anything.
Yep.
Or just like student organizations and fraternities, like you have these built-in friends.
Yep.
But like once you graduate, like once again, you say you move from like 9 people kind of be in the same house.
Yep.
To now you have just 2 other people.
Right.
So it's like you have to find new ways to kind of make new friends. And
Yep.
like chances are those 7 other guys are out doing something different. You're not seeing them all the time. It's
Yep.
like you have one of 2 options. One, you can try to rely on your same friend group, which
Yep.
is okay. Or you can go find new ways to make new ones. And it sounds like you're taking a lighter approach.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of my friends, funny enough, are all from New York. So they all went back home after college. So they're all in New York. I mean, they don't even spend a ton of time together themselves, but, they're all scattered around, whether it's city or Long Island. So, and then the 3 of us kind of just from the house kind of moved here. So, yeah, it's just, like you said, just branching out and creating new people to hang out with and doing that. And it's been great.
So, Matt, thank you for kind of giving us some background on you. It sounds like your journey from Long Island to Columbus, Ohio has been a pretty successful one. And you're here for the long haul, it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a timestamp on anything, so.
Nice. You can officially say that Columbus is better than Long Island, right?
There's some differences for sure. I don't know if I'd say better quite yet, but I know. Very similar.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
It's getting there to be better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's the cool thing about Long Island that Columbus doesn't have?
Oh, I'm going to sound like a snob here, but I'm a big bagel guy. Love my New York bagels, and probably a lot of people watching won't quite understand it. I understand that they won't understand, but just got to try a bagel. You got to get used to the Long Island bagel, and once you've had those for 19, 20 years of your life, and you don't have that in Columbus, it's a big difference, and it's something that I always talk about as a joke, but it's kind of true. But
Joking, but with truth.
Yeah.
Those are the best jokes when there's a little bit of barber truth.
Yeah.
One of my good friends, Joel, he loves his bagels as well. I believe he has some ties to New York if he's not in New York himself or from New York himself. And he always goes to like special places in Columbus that has like these good bagels. And I have them, they hit a little different than the packages from Kroger that I get. So what makes a bagel like from is it a deli, a bakery? What do you make bagels?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to explain. I don't really have like the explanation to like enunciate exactly what I'm talking about. It's more of like you just got to try it to understand it. But just I can't find something that even comes close here. And there's some good bagel spots. I'll give the bagel spots that people go to and they love. I'll give them some credit. They have built good following and people love them. And I'll go to them and I'm just like, just doesn't hit the same.
Doesn't hit the same.
No.
All right. So obviously you're going to be coming back on a podcast. And so between this podcast and this podcast, we're going to have to find at least 2 or 3 different bagel places in Columbus just to see if one is close enough, or we just get one shipped from New York here. Can you ship bagels from
Probably,
New York?
yeah.
How much do you think that is? You're paying for it, so just whatever you want to pay for, it's fine.
I don't know. It depends how many we get.
Yeah, you can use my toaster, so that'll be my contribution
Okay.
to this. I use my toaster, you get the bagels, we'll be good to go.
Done.
I'm curious to have like a A/B test. Someone's going to blindfold me and say which one is better. I'm like, this one hits, and it's probably the one from New York.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Yeah.
All right, well, hopefully Columbus can up its bagel game to a Matt's level.
Yep.
Or maybe you can just open up your own bagel shop.
Thought about that before.
Oh, yeah, he's still thinking about it. He's like, it can be a good idea.
Yeah.
I dig it.
We'll see.
We'll see. So, Matt, you had some homework in preparing for this podcast.
Sure.
And one of those pieces of homework was to pick out a date that was significant to you. Do you remember what date you picked?
Picked out January 20th of this year, 2025.
So, January 20th, 2025.
Yes.
So, Matt, what's special about that date?
A couple things. A lot of people in Ohio would know it's the night the Buckeyes won the national championship. Obviously, that means a lot to me. I'm a big Buckeye fan. It's the first championship I experienced in 8 or so years of one of my favorite teams. Not the Buckeyes, obviously, but the Eagles. I'm an Eagles fan. They won the Super Bowl in 2017. So it's been 8 years since I experienced a championship. Before that day, up until that point, obviously the Buckeyes won in 2015. So that was cool. But other than winning, all my friends from college, like I said, they're from New York, all flew down here on a Sunday to stay for the Monday game. And it was just like one of those days and nights, disregarding the win, where it's just like all of my friends together. We obviously don't see each other a ton anymore since college. Just kind of hanging out, just enjoying each other's presence, and then obviously celebrating something that we've looked forward to for 4+ years while we're in college. And it was just a great night, a great day. And I always look back on that and just smile like ear to ear about how great of a day. Obviously the game was great, but just how great of an overall day and night that specific day was.
And I think, I don't know much about this professional football, NFL, but did the Eagles win
They did.
also that year?
They won in February after that.
So you had just 2 months of just cloud nine.
Yeah.
The happiest camper
Yeah,
ever.
it was great.
So it sounds like that date's important to you because like all your friends that you gone to college with, and you guys hadn't seen each other for almost a year at that point because you graduated and moved off. So why is community important to you?
Oh man, I love it. It's just being able to just like kind of feel at home with somebody and just kind of talking to them like you don't care what they think about you or care about what you say. It's just like the greatest thing to me. Like I never really want to feel like uncomfortable around people, and especially my college friends who I've known and lived with. When they're around, it's just like they're my brothers. Like I obviously am very close to my twin brother, but it almost feels similar in the fact that like it's just like I've known these guys for my entire life, and we can just say whatever, do whatever. We can sit there in silence, and it's fine because we're just like that, and it's just we always have the greatest time. We're always doing some fun things, and yeah, it's just the best. That's why I love college.
You're putting a name to something that took me a long time to learn, just like being able to just be yourself, relax, and be kind of open and vulnerable with these people. have you guys ever had like super deep conversations with each other?
Of course, of course. I mean, like I said, we live with each other, so not every night is like the most crazy night where we're doing something crazy. We've had nights where we just sat on the couch and talked or watched TV, and we've definitely opened up to each other about plenty of things for sure. I've heard it all from my friends in the last 4 years. I can think off the top of my head, just each one of my friends, like one thing that we've talked about their lives, about my life, specific moments that we've just talked about. So for sure.
I think kind of having those people there, especially like a lot of guys don't feel like comfortable opening up to people. But once they do, they realize like, oh, they're not going to mock me. They're not going to make fun of me. They're going to like probably make jabs as appropriate.
Right.
But ultimately, they want to help me kind of get through this.
Yep.
And it sounds like you have a good community of people that can do that for you.
Absolutely.
And now that you're actually reaching out further in Columbus, you're going to have those people as well.
Yep.
And one day you guys will know about a bagel shop, and it's going to be great. You keep saying that. It's great. So, Matt, what I'll have you do is I will look at the bike brain entry. I'll have you just kind of read it to yourself.
Yep.
As I explain what bike brains are for someone who's never heard of it before.
Yep.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So bike brains are tools that I use to help process the world around me. Generally, they're broken down into one of three major categories: mind, body, and spirit. Mind is about having different rooms in your life, be it the college room, the fraternity room, the want to go hang out with your friends room, the workout room. We all have different rooms in our lives that we allocate mental energy toward, and we have to enter those rooms to really push those goals further. The next is body. Body is about taking a 360 holistic approach to your body. It's more than just calories in through nutrition or calories out through working out. It's also about your stress levels, how much sleep you're getting, how you carry your anxiety, and also the environment around you. The last is spirit. Spirit's about diving in and reaching out. Diving into your own code of conduct. Your code of conduct being how you choose to live your life and the rules that you live by that really develop your character. And reaching out to others, understanding that you can't do this thing called life alone. We are all part of this thing we call a community, and you have to be a participant in it. And then there's a special category known as an Eno Sala entry. Eno Sala is about taking mind, body, spirit into consideration and using each of those attributes to really level up in your own journey and growth. So Matt, did you have a chance to read that?
Yes, sir.
All right, what'd you think?
It's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna have the first crack at it.
Oh God.
I know you have time though, because I have to read it out loud right now.
Okay.
All right. So once again, this bike brand entry is from January 20th, 2025, and it's an Eno Sala entry. And this is it. When on thin ice. If a pond of thin ice serves as your bridge from one point to the next, there's one thing to keep in mind when crossing it: pressure distribution. That is, the less pressure hitting a single point, the less chances that one point will crack and break as you traverse it. That's why it's preferable to spread yourself thin by crawling across a thin ice pond rather than walk across it. The same goes for when you hit thin points on the bridge you've constructed for your growth journey. The more you rely on one attribute to get across, the greater the pressure applied, which increases the chances of that bridge failing you. To counter this, spread the obligation across your three attributes. Use your mind to allocate energy to the task so that you'll remain focused. Use your body to monitor your stress, fuel, and current capabilities so that you don't do more than you can handle. Use your spirit to reach out for more resources to code onto yourself to remain focused on the why of your journey. Distribute evenly across all three, especially when times are tough and the bridge is like thin ice. So Matt, you've become a participant recently in something I call the Word of the Month. And so Word of the Month for me in January was bridge, how to get from point A to point B. And so I was thinking to myself, like, I had a pretty big bridge coming up, and that bridge was going to be surgery. And so a week after that January 20th, 2025 date, I was going under the knife for a meniscectomy to have my meniscus kind of taken out because I ruptured it back last year. And I thought to myself, all right, that is a high pressure point. I take care of myself physically, and like a lot of my mental alleviation is coming through like output. So I like to work out because it gets me in a good headspace. I don't want to go to work cold. I get to see my friends in the gym early in the morning, so it makes me happy. And I thought to myself, oh, I won't be able to do that because I have meniscus surgery. And so I was like, how do we prepare that? Had I just focused on just like the body aspect of it, it's like, oh, I can't do that, I would have fallen through that thin ice. Because like, oh, if you can't work out, that means you're not going to be able to really focus on the body. But I thought to myself, how do I spread that obligation more thin to other areas? Like, all right, mental room of working out. Like, what does working out actually mean? That means like getting some type of movement. It doesn't have to be biking. And the reason I'm doing that is focusing on the why. And the why I do that is because I want to be in a healthy headspace. And so although I couldn't use my legs because, had like a nice big pad of gauze on it, I can still use my arms. And so to help me get across that bridge of getting from point A to point B, from surgery to actually being recovered, it's like, oh, you have these other tools in mind. So I used my hand bike, and also when I could get back to the gym, I still did, and focus on upper body. And that helped me really recharge my whole spirit because I could see my friends in the gym. And the first thing that happened when I first got to the gym, people yelled at me. It was like, Dan, why are you here on crutches? And I don't think we had started talking yet. You probably saw this guy on crutches and coming to the gym. I was like, all right, that's interesting. And so it's like, there's ways to kind of get around these tough points in your life, especially if you start planning for them. I think when people hit kind of like these thin ice parts, they just want to keep relying on the same thing over and over again. You see it with people like even when rushing. It's like, hey, if you only have one aspect of yourself, that's not going to really help you be a fleshed out, full human being. You have to really think about like, hey, why am I doing this? What mental energy am I allocating to these different rooms? And I have like the energy, like, am I getting enough sleep? Back in the day, I didn't get a lot of sleep because like, I didn't need it. But now like sleep is important because it sets a foundation for having a good and healthy day. So kind of taking like the mind, body, and spirit approach means like, when one of those areas is a little bit weaker, how can I distribute it to other areas to make sure I'm not falling through and really missing my goals? So I really like kind of like the nice approach to things. So Matt, what did you think about that bike brain?
That was great. I think it really describes like how you can deal with the situation, and like you said, like just spread out your thoughts. Like not everything has to be so direct and focused on one thing. We live this life, and there's different factors to everything, and you can get over something by just taking a step back and saying, okay, well, that's going on here. Let me focus on this and worry about this on this side, and maybe that can help me get through it in a different way.
Do you watch any Disney movies?
Of course, yeah.
Have you heard of Encanto?
Yes.
So Encanto, I was thinking about the strong woman. I forgot her name. It's terrible. But she was like, her family gift was like super strength. And one of my favorite songs is Surface Pressure. It's like she's dancing with the donkeys, and she's like all this obligation of the world on her. She had always seen herself as someone that's just like, oh, I'm just the strong one. And that's my whole identity. And she was just cracking. The whole song was about her cracking. And I think the same thing goes to us. If we get ourselves wrapped up in our identity, it's like, that's all you have. You're just going to be cracking on it because you just keep hitting that same point over and over again. And that obligation to kind of live up to that expectation, it's tough.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people do that. Like they want to get into real estate. It's like, I have to do it this certain way. Or they want to go into law school. They have to do it this certain way. It's like, no, we want someone that's going to be human.
Right.
So go ahead and develop those other aspects of yourselves too. Don't always try to hit the one pressure point, because if you do that, you're going to fail. And it's going to be tragic for everyone.
Yep.
So, have you ever spread yourself too thin in an endeavor before?
Probably, yeah, for sure. I've definitely have just, worked at like too much and just like overwhelmed myself with some certain situations, for sure.
How did you kind of like address that? How did you raise awareness to the fact that you were spreading yourself too thin?
I think the biggest thing for me is like using people in my life, people I can rely on and talk to, and not like hold my thoughts in about, I feel like I'm overwhelmed with things and I can't do it. Really just being honest with people, being like, I am overwhelmed with something. I need your help. Like, can you please help me? Like, I think just relying on other people. I'm very close with like my family, and I feel like I can rely on them for a lot of things. And then sometimes if I do feel overwhelmed, I can just, call up my mom, call up my dad and say, hey, can you help me just get through this? And they don't have to like, give me a solution, but kind of just talking me through how I'm feeling, and just understanding where I'm coming from is just sometimes just a nice ease of mind that can just help me get through something.
And that's one of the big points of that bike brand, is like reaching out to other people. And I think the tough part for people about reaching out is like, even when they're going through something, it's like, oh, I don't want to burden someone with my problems, or I'm just going to hold this to myself. It's like, chances are, if you're that close with that person, they want you to reach out to them when you're going through something.
Right.
Because chances are they'll reach out to you when they're going through something. And for me, it took me a long time to kind of get to that point. I used to just kind of hold things in, like just suffering in silence. And then my thought, I really wasn't suffering that much, but I definitely could have used the help if I just asked for it. My friends tell me all the time, hey, Dan, you always come and help us with our projects and everything. Like, let us know when you need help. Even to this day, I'm like, I can still do this by myself, but one, it'll be a lot more fun if I have people around to do it with me. And two, is like, it'll go faster. And three, like, they want to support me, so I have to give them that opportunity to support me.
Right.
And I assume whenever you reach out to your friends and your family, they've never been like, you know what, Matt, F off. We don't need to talk to you. We don't want to talk to you about that. They've probably been pretty receptive.
Yeah, for sure. I've never experienced anybody be like, Why you call me? So I was just like, yeah, what do you need?
Why do you think it's tough for some people to kind of have that vulnerability and asking for help?
Yeah, I think it's like what you said. Like, you just, people think that they're burdening people with their problems, and, you know, kind of just maybe sometimes it's embarrassing. Sometimes your problems are just, you don't want to tell anybody because you think that you're a fool or you're embarrassed by what you're going through. And, you know, you don't realize that, you know, everybody goes through these kind of things, whether that's something with your job, something with relationships, something with social life. You know, everybody goes through problems. Everybody goes through things in their lives that they've dealt with. And just because you're going through something doesn't make it, you know, worse or more embarrassing than somebody else. And it's okay. And it's better to have somebody help you through it than sit there in silence and it just get worse.
And reach out to other people. Also saves on one of the biggest resources that is always going and we never can replenish is time. And so when you reach out to other people about an issue that you're having, chances are they've either gone through it or they have resources to help you kind of get through it.
Right.
And say, for instance, like you want to start lifting weights, right? It's like, well, how do I get a better squat? You can go through any type of method that you want, but chances are if you do it too quickly, increase weight too much, or your form is bad, you're going to end up injuring yourself. It's like, you're not the first person in humanity to ever attempt a squat.
Right.
And chances are you won't be the last person. And so what's the best way to approach something like that? It's like, well, someone else does it. You see someone in the gym, it's like, oh, that person's squatting. I kind of like and respect what they're doing. They've gone up over time. Let me just go ask.
Right.
And I think people are just so afraid of like, oh, I'm going to look like an idiot. I'm going to look like a failure for asking this question at all. But the big thing is like, you can save a lot of time just by asking someone, hey, how did you go about doing that? How did you approach that? And like, what are some, I guess, hurdles that are going to come up that I have to overcome? And I think reaching out to other people will save you a lot of time to realize like, hey, they probably made the same mistakes that I have before. They probably will run into the same pitfalls that I've run into before. I could probably do it a little bit faster than they did because they can teach me how to kind of get through that a little bit faster.
Right. I feel like the people that are getting asked those questions sometimes like enjoy that. They're like, heck yeah, like somebody's asking me, like, of course I'll help them. And I think that's like, people don't realize that. You're like, you're not wasting somebody's time because you're asking them. Sometimes they actually might enjoy, you know, if somebody came up to you in the gym and was like, can you help me with this? I would feel like almost honored, and I think it'd be cool, but of course I'll help you. Like, it's not wasting my time. Like, what do you need? And I think people don't really realize that. And it's tough to get over that hurdle to realize that. And that's what sometimes I guess people struggle with, and I struggle with, just like, yeah, who cares? Like, it's fine. You're not wasting their time. They probably will enjoy it anyway.
So how do you get over that hurdle of hesitation?
Yeah, I think I've like learned a lot in the last year or so. Like, just like I said, with like the social aspect, just sending the text. Like, just send a text. Just ask. Worst they could say is no. And if they say no, doesn't change anything in your life. You're going to be fine regardless. And just understanding that to a deeper level, it's just important to know that it's okay.
I think also one thing that's helped me is just like doing it and realizing the worst case scenario is saying no. But for me, like I help mentally reframe. It's like, oh, but what if they say yes?
Right.
And so instead of focusing like on the negative the whole time, it's like, well, what if they say yes? And chances are they're going to say yes. And it's helped me out tremendously. My buddy Dom Nappy in the gym, he has taught me so much just about data and the use of data. He was like, Dan, you should get something called auto sleep. Do you know what auto sleep is?
Nope.
So auto sleep is an app that tracks your sleep for you. And I was like, hey, I want to make sure like I'm getting good sleep and everything. He's like, you should get this app. I'm like, all right. So I wear this watch to bed, and you know, like an Apple Watch and everything. And it has like the little activity rings.
Yep.
It gives you activity rings based on your sleep. So it has like a ring for like deep sleep, a ring for like how much you've been awake, and like shallow sleep and everything. It's not called shallow sleep, but I'm not smart. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so using that tool has like really helped supercharge my own journey and development, because I'm like, oh, did I get good sleep last night? It's like, I feel kind of groggy right now. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Right.
And raising awareness of that means in the future, it can really help tailor my approach to it. It's like, does that mean I have to watch what I eat a couple hours before going to bed, or move up my bedtime a little bit earlier? But like having him as a resource has really helped like supercharge that one development in that journey of sleep. So I think kind of getting over that hesitation hurdle is huge.
Yeah.
So Matt, thank you for entertaining me as far as discussing what the bite brains are and everything. But enough about me. We get to go back to you now. So you had a second piece of homework in preparing for this podcast. So Matt, tell us, what personal development tool do you use to help hit your own best path forward?
Okay. So you said come up with a name for it.
Like, start with a name.
I'm trying to think of like something cool to think of.
Hang on, let me get a pen. That boy said, never have I ever heard someone just start with a name.
I'm trying to think of something cool because I want it to mean something. It's more of like an acronym. PMH.
PNH. Acronyms.
Yeah.
We like acronyms.
It's for push myself harder.
Push.
I think the biggest tool in my life is just understanding that like it's all determined on me. My success is not going to come from other people. Anything that I want to do in my life needs to start with me and finish with me. And while obviously, like we talked about, I can use people's resources, and there's plenty of people that will help with my journey and help me get through things and help me learn things. It all starts with me. And if I don't push myself harder each day to get better or to learn, it's never gonna come. And I think that's something that I've learned in the past couple of years that is really gonna take me to the next level of my professional career and then in my life in general.
PMH. Start with an acronym for push myself harder. So daily push yourself. I think it's good to kind of like, yesterday was good. What can I do to kind of push a little bit further today? So how do you go about assessing what you did the day before in preparation of pushing yourself the next day?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just learning. It's not going to be this like crazy change that it's going to happen, because that's kind of crazy. You'll live obviously plenty of days in your life and you can't do something drastic every day where it's like, okay, I got to change this whole thing. But take one thing, whether that's at the gym or at work or socially, and say, how can I be better in that aspect? What did I do yesterday that maybe didn't go the best that I can take and just change? Whether that's working out, you didn't feel like you got the best workout. What can I do to change it? Whether it's get better sleep or push myself harder, whether it's work. For me, it's, focus a little more, or, learn from my managers or something like that. Or socially, just, sending that text and getting better on that aspect. If I didn't have the best night before that, how can I be better day by day? And just the little things, and not trying to make it this whole big thing, I think is also very important. Because if you make it and you focus too much on the aspect of it, you lose the point of like what you're trying to actually do. So just getting 1% better every day is
1% better every day.
Yeah, that didn't come from, I didn't make that up.
Oh no, that's a good one though. I like how you just kind of correlated that. I agree that everyone's looking for like these big sweeping changes every day. I'm like, no, it's not about that. It's like that 1% better every day.
Yep.
Have you heard the word Kaizen before? So Kaizen is, I believe, a Japanese word. Probably wrong on that, but we're just going to say Japanese until I call myself out later for it. It's about consistent incremental progress. So my buddy Hayden, I think we talked about Hayden before we started recording.
Yep.
He kind of told me like one of his words was Kaizen. I was like, oh, what does that mean? Consistent incremental progress. Like if you just try to do something every day, like over time, you're going to get better in that objective and goal, be it like your work, be it your gym, be it your social activities or anything. Like if you just try to do 1% better every day, over time, you're going to get it.
Yep.
I think one of the coolest things you said started it out. And you said that my success will not come from other people. It starts and ends with me. Where did that mentality come from?
I don't know. I just have, I don't know. I've learned that, as much as people can help you in your life, and I've been very blessed with a ton of people in my life that are supportive and that are willing to help and that have helped, nobody's doing it for me. I can't sit there at work and have somebody else do the work for me. It has to come from me. Somebody can't go to the gym for me and get stronger for me, or get in shape for me.
That'd be awesome though.
Yeah, that'd be crazy, but it doesn't happen. And like, especially socially, I think this is where it almost really thrives the most. It's like, especially now that I'm out of college and we talked about that the plans aren't in front of me and that it's not every single night where something's going on. It's like, you got to make the plans, People aren't going to come to you all the time and say, hey, you want to hang out? No. Sometimes you got to go, and most of the time you got to go to other people and say, hey, Dan, let's hang out. Let's go get some drinks, or let's go do something on this night. It's got to come from me. And the more I sit back and watch other people not do it, makes me realize that it has to come from me. And if it doesn't come from me, it's not going to happen. So, you need other people to make it happen. but it has to come from you.
It's funny, like even planning things out socially. I'm a lot older than you are, so my friends have like, kids and everything to consider.
Yep.
I'm like, hey, we have to plan these things out months in advance. Like yesterday, my friends, Dan and Kara, I guess they have a 1-year-old now. We're like, hey, they're like, August is shot for us.
Yep.
How about September? I'm like, September's shot for me. So I'm like, we're going to hang out again in October.
Yep.
But that's okay because like we both have the interest in doing it.
Yep.
And although we have busy lives, like we're taking the initiative to do it.
Yep.
And so I love that people say they're too busy to do something, but not everyone's busy every weekend coming up. Like you might have some obligations like weddings and everything or
Yep.
out of town trips. But like if you really care about the relationship, people will carve out time for you.
Yep.
And it's tough to be the person to take the initiative to say, all right, we haven't seen each other in a couple of weeks.
Right.
Kind of getting that itch to see you guys.
Yeah.
So like, how do we make this happen?
Right.
And if one weekend doesn't work, it's like, all right, let's alter out some weekends.
Yeah.
Let's pick this weekend. We're all available. We're going to lock down that weekend to have whatever time we need. And it's on the calendar and that's how you make it work.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're the one kind of taking the initiative to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird because I don't know if this is like normal in other people's lives, but like it's hard. I think I've realized that sometimes people might not like want to reach out and make plans with you, not because they don't want to hang out with you. It's just because like we talked about, like sometimes it's hard to send that text and it's like, it's not the easiest thing to like go out and make that initiative. So like, it's okay to understand that you have to be the one to do it. It's not wrong that, you're not reaching, people want to hang out with you, but like sometimes it's just hard for them to initiate. So you got to be the one to do it.
I think it's tough too because it's like we have these like phones all the time. Like we have our phones on us and it's like we can hop on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all these things. But sometimes it's tough to just send that message to that person that like you care about to say, hey, I just want to hang out.
Yeah.
I kind of miss you.
Yeah.
Let's just hang out.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
It's just a fear of rejection, I think. You build yourself up to send that text. And if they say no, you're like, oh, I was excited to do that.
You go to their house and bang down their door.
Right.
And beat them up.
Excited to do it. And like they said no, like for this day that was already planned in my head that it was going to happen at, which is okay. Like people have things that pop up. So if like we made plans for next weekend, or I asked you to make plans for next weekend, you're like, oh no, like I have something to do on Saturday. It's like, my head, I'm like, oh dang, like I was excited for that. But it's not like you didn't want to hang out with me. You just couldn't. So I think realizing like it's okay if they say no. It doesn't mean it's over. Don't mean that you're not friends anymore. It's okay. I think people struggle with that.
And I think just one thing that's made me a better friend when people want to reach out, the two people in Columbus, like, hey, Dan, let's hang out. I don't have to reach out to them. If I can't do it, I don't just say no. I'll say no, but how about this date?
Yep.
I think alternatives is a great way to kind of like help ease that. So, because it does take a lot of work and a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety, kind of waiting, especially if they don't respond for days. It's like, what were you doing all that time?
Yeah.
Like, you're on your phone. I saw you on all these apps. And so it's like, be a good friend. Like if people like you exist, and this is just a PSA. If someone like Matt reaches out to you and they're like, hey, we want to do something. A good friendship tip is not to just say no to it. Say, no, but I can do this day. If you care about people like Matt and those friends like Matt, and you have that relationship building, don't just say no. Like say no, but can we have an alternative date?
Yeah.
And you work back and forth, you negotiate and come to a date that says like, hey, this works for both of us. I think that's one way to kind of really supercharge your friendships.
Absolutely.
And shocking, a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
That's why I just make a PSA for it.
Absolutely.
And so another thing that I really like about the PMH kind of like concept and acronym is that it reminds me of an author and just kind of general badass named Jocko Willink. Have you heard of Jocko Willink before?
I think I have.
Yeah.
Heard the name. That sounds familiar. I don't know too much though, so.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. I'm not going to quote you on it. I didn't give you anything to quote yet. I can quote you on that. His name is Jocko Willink.
Okay.
How about that? Is that a good middle ground?
Fine.
All right, well, cheers to that middle ground. Here we go. The most ridiculous cheers ever on here. But he has this book called Extreme Ownership. And extreme ownership is like saying like, hey, if I am tasked with doing something, it's my responsibility to make sure it gets done. And even if other people kind of like have excuses, like that's fine, but it's still on me. It's my job to kind of anticipate whatever's going to happen. And to the best of my ability, try to make sure that outcome is a good one rather than the bad one. And so what I love what you said is that like, as much as people can help me in my journey, it's my job to kind of take those steps getting from point A to point B. They can't make those steps for me. And so I think that's huge growth for you in general. And once again, just impressive because like, you're just like this young guy, a lot younger than I am. You already have this mentality. It's like, if I want something, I have to go out and get it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you make sure you actually see an end to like a goal that you have? Like, how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And like, I'll be honest with you, sometimes, some days, like it just doesn't work out, and like you plan on doing something and you just have a not so great day, and you kind of just lose track of what your goals are. I think for me, it's like I wish I did more of like writing it down and like really writing out my goals for the day. But it's kind of just like that feeling I feel like before I go to bed of like, did I do enough today? And like kind of just practicing, like thinking to myself, how can I get better tomorrow when I wake up? And just thinking it on a deeper level than I would have in the past. I have like number goals and this and that, but really just focus on like my mindset at the end of the day and just, was this a good day? Did I do what I needed to do? And just that is just how I kind of go about it each day.
That is one big takeaway I'm going to have for myself. Did I do enough during the day? Because I think like we're both driven people, but sometimes I'll find myself just sitting there for an hour. I'm like, right now is a good time to play a game called Expedition 33. It's a very addictive game for PlayStation 5. Very sad story, but I'm like, I'm just going to hop into this sad story. I'm like, could I spend this time like editing? Could I spend my time doing that, this, that, and the other? It's like, all right, if I get my work done, then we can play a little bit,
Yeah.
Play being like something like a video game or going out to get drinks with people or just like relaxing, like I have to earn that time.
Yep.
But even when I work and kind of like earn that time and I find myself spending an hour doing something that's productive, just not in a personal development way productive.
Yeah.
It's like, did I do enough for the day?
Yeah.
So how do you balance like making sure you do enough for the day with showing grace for yourself to make sure like, hey, you can have these times to relax?
Yeah, I think it's definitely okay to have those times. Like you need those times, otherwise you're gonna go crazy. I know my life is very structured during the week, so like I wake up, go to the gym, and then I go to work. And if I have a good day at work, there's not much I could do after work to like prepare myself for the next day in terms of like just I got to show up the next day and just be better. So I think another thing for me is just like understanding that if I don't do the best at work, just kind of putting that aside, and then just focusing on that when the time is right, whether that's that night or the next day, and kind of just having that balance of just like live your life and do what you have to do, have some fun at night and get away from it for a little bit. Yeah, but I just think it's just having those times is good, and you need them, and earning them is important. I think, like you said, like you want to earn those times and you want to feel confident that you can. For me, like going to the gym in the morning, like makes me feel like I earned the day. Like I can feel positive. I don't go to the gym today. I'm not there every morning, and sometimes I skip because I'm tired or something. I definitely feel like I can't do anything else after work unless I do some form of workout or some sort of exercise to make myself feel like I can earn, going out to dinner or going to do this with friends or sitting on the couch and watching baseball or sports or something like that. Like, no, if you're going to do that, you got to work out, or you got to do that, or like be done with work and have a good day. So just like that kind of stuff. Just, it's like checkpoints in my head. Just like, okay, do that, done. Feel good about it. Move on.
I dig that. Like you kind of have these negotiables, like you're negotiating with yourself. It's like, if I want to do X, I have to do Y first. I guess backwards. I'm not good at the alphabet. If I want to do Y, I have to do X first.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I don't do X, then I can't have Y. Y being reward.
Yep.
A lot of people think about like, oh, it's sweets or like going out to eat. For you, it's like, no, it's me just carving out a time of my structured time to like watch a sporting event I want to watch.
Yep.
So if I know the Phillies are playing at 8 o'clock that night, it's like that morning I better get up and go to the gym.
Right.
Because I want to watch the Phillies.
Right.
And since you're a fan of Philadelphia, and I assume that's on your hat. What is that?
Philly Fanatic, baby. Their mascot.
Philly Fanatic. What team is that?
Phillies.
Phillies? Yeah. I don't know sports. What is this?
MLB.
Oh, MLB baseball.
Yeah.
They have that as their mascot?
Yep.
Wild.
Random.
It looks like a Sesame Street character.
Yep.
It's fine. We're getting off track here. That is a crazy logo.
Crazy.
When you don't kind of find yourself hitting your goals, like how do you make sure to find grace for yourself if you're able to find grace for yourself?
I think I do. Like I was saying earlier, like there's just so many days, where you can't really focus on the negative, because if you let it compound and you're like, well, I didn't go to the gym yesterday, like what's the point tomorrow? No, like it's okay. Each day is separate, but each day is not determined on the next. Restart, say, you know what? just because I miss one day, it doesn't mean I'm going to become fat or I'm going to lose my goals or I'm going to, lose all my muscle. Like, no, it's okay. You missed a day. Know that, acknowledge it, and then just focus on the next day. You don't have to go 2 times harder. You don't have to say, oh, I got to do 2 workouts or, oh, I have to do this double. So, no, tomorrow's a new day. It's the same day as it was yesterday. Do what I have to do, get in, get out, and just accomplish the goals. If you try to push yourself and overwork yourself, and for me personally, just feeling like I'm overwhelmed because I just missed something or I couldn't do something, it just becomes a whole thing. Just take the day, move it to the next, focus on how you would that day like you would every other day, and then just move on and go on with your schedule and get back on track. Otherwise, it could fall off the rails and it's just be a whole big thing for no reason.
I was wondering how you're going to finish that. You said fall off the rails. I was going to say break through thin ice. I was wanting you have gotten 3 points, but you didn't. It's fine. I mean, it's not too late.
Break through thin ice.
Oh my gosh, that felt forced. Matt, I got to tell you, I like this PMH tool. So if someone's looking to start this themselves, like push themselves harder, how do you go about, like, what advice would you give to them to get started themselves if they want to start pushing myself but themselves harder?
Okay. I appreciate your asking for my advice. As a young kid, I don't have much experience in the life, but I'll try to give my best advice where I can. I would just say focus on one thing at a time, whether that's the gym, whether that's something at work, whether that's something at social aspect. It's not going to all happen at once. I'm not saying my life's perfect in any regard. Like, things happen and it's not perfect. Like, my structure schedule is not great, like not the best for everybody, going to the gym in the morning. Some people just can't do it. Understandable. Pick something you want to set yourself to, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's in the morning or after work, or making a plan once a week with your friends, or hitting a goal at work. Pick one thing, hit that goal, get used to feeling what success feels like when you pick it and when you do it, and then build off that. Once you feel comfortable in one aspect of it, you can build in another, and then build in another, and then go from there. And just really focus on one at a time. Focusing on that will really, help the whole cause in the end of the day.
I want to disagree on one thing that you said. You started off that awesome breakdown of steps, saying like, "Oh, I'm not sure what people like this young kid want to hear from." I don't like that. I don't like that.
Why?
Because I don't think age is a prerequisite from giving good advice. I think you're a pretty driven individual. You move from one city to the next city in a different complete state. You're making it work here. You've already kind of talked about the tools that you're using to kind of hit your own like social goals and everything. A lot of things that people probably aren't doing that are my age or even more. And because like you're being open with people, I think that kind of gives you the right to kind of like share what you're going through. If people pick up on it and love it, awesome. If they don't, it's not for them.
Yep.
But that's not your job. Your job is just to like share what you're going through. I tell you one thing that I already love before going to bed every night. I'm going to ask myself, did I do enough during the day? And I am almost twice your age. I know. And so I was like, oh, I don't care if like you're a young kid, like you're someone that I respect, someone whose drive that I've seen. You proved it through real estate adventures with your brother and everything. Like you proved it. And I'm like, I kind of like that. And that's at least one takeaway that I have. And so I love the fact that you're being humble and modest. Well, I'm just this young kid, but no, you're kind of the man when it comes to a lot of different things. We're all a work in progress and everything. And I think what you have to say is pretty valuable. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so you said some really good things and 3 kind of simple steps, kind of implementing someone to push themselves harder. It's weird because like push myself harder, like that's the name of it, but I'm like talking about them. It's fine. Push myself harder tool.
Yeah.
The first thing is focus on one thing at a time. And I wrote down kind of like a room here. So like one mental room here. Be it the work room, workout room, social room, or just like a career room. Like you have to focus on one thing at a time. And the next is achieve that goal that you have in that room and kind of get comfortable with the feeling of what it means to kind of have that success.
Yep.
And I assume you don't know who David Goggins is.
I do actually.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So he has a cookie jar. It's funny. We just talked about this in the last episode. Like the cookie jar. It's like get comfortable with that feeling of the success. It's like, all right, I've done this before. I could do hard things.
Yeah.
So let me pull that out as a memory when things get tough in the future. So get comfortable with that feeling of achieving something hard.
Yep.
And then last is not, but not least, and this is where the push comes into play, build out on that. So like, what this is, you're getting comfortable with it. How do I level it up? How do I take it to the next level? Those are fantastic things.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sort of, no, what's he hear what I have to say? Nobody got time for that. So any other big steps to kind of focus on there?
Oh, I mean, I think keeping it simple is good, so we'll stick with that. I think overcomplicating it sometimes can lead to like confusion, especially for me. So, well, one thing at a time, focus on one thing at a time, hit that goal, and then build from there. I think is very important.
The PMACE tool.
Yeah.
I dig it. Well, Matt, this has been fantastic.
Appreciate you having me.
I've learned a lot. I have a quote that I'm going to have on my whiteboard out there. I'm going to write it down. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Cool.
Yeah. So as we're kind of closing here, do you have anything that you want to say to the people?
No, I think keep working out there. You know, do your thing. You know, you can set your own goals and you can push yourself. Do what you can. You know, sometimes things are not for everybody, but do what you can. People all different lives out there. So some things may be better for other people than some different people, and do what you can do. Push yourself, but leave the day thinking that you did something positive for yourself that day. I think that's very important. I'll leave the people with that.
I couldn't have said better myself. Matt Will, cheers out here.
Sure.
Until next time, everyone, have a good one. Thank you for watching and listening to today's episode. Chances are you're looking to embark on your own personal development journey. I'm not going to lie to you. True personal development is hard, and it's supposed to be hard. That's because you're not only changing who you are, but how you operate. The aim of this podcast is to give you a community of people that are striving to do the same. So like and subscribe to the channel, but more importantly, comment below on how you plan on using today's tool to find your own best path forward. We'll see you next time.